Hello, everybody. This is Sunheave, and I'm coming to you with Experiment, a Jeff the Killer X Reader by ThePerfectBlur. We're going to be starting off with Chapter 16, and let's get into it. I've made many mistakes in my life, murders and theft, but kicking Jeff in the balls with my knee definitely feels like the biggest mistake I've ever made. He was angry. As I ran in the forest, I could hear his yells. He was not happy in the slightest, and I actually feared for my life. So much so that once I reached the mansion, I didn't stop. I continued running. If I'm out in the open, free from walls, support beams, and doors, I'm going to keep running until I successfully escape. There's no way anyone can stop me out here, surely not. And I'm definitely not going back just to have Jeff kill me. Although the deeper in the forest I went, the more lost I got. The fog and mist grew thicker, and it became so hard to see. Not only that, it felt like I was running in a complete circle. So much so that I eventually came to a stop in the middle of the trees, standing there as I turned around, looking and facing all directions, trying to find my way out of this maze, listening to Jeff's angry yells in the distance. He sounded so far away yet so close. However, I freeze instantly once I hear a rustling in the bushes, slowly turning to face the direction of the source. Jeff? Jeff? I whisper quietly, hoping to hear a response so I knew whether to run or not. And if I couldn't run, I meant to use my power on him just to keep me alive, even if that does reveal my secret skill. But as I watched, I was stunned, shocked, and full of fear. What walked out of the bush was not Jeff. In fact, it didn't even walk out into the open. It stalked, like an animal stalking its prey. I watched it intensely as it began to circle me, its head fixed in my direction as it stared locks on my figure. It walks on all fours, but it had a human-like appearance. It was thin and skinny, able to see each bone and curve and dip. Every rib, every part of its spine strongly on show. Its feet and fingers were a lot longer than normal humans, and to make them even longer, huge claws protrude from each and every one. Its back was arched as it slowly crawled around me. Keeping its distance, it wore no clothing and had long, sharp, fang-like teeth with big, burning white eyes. Its spine-chilling growl echoes around me as it constantly changes its direction of which way it circles, as if it was trying to throw me off or distract me from watching it and losing my concentration. Jeff's POV. After recovering from the painful kick between the legs, I was furious. First, she knocks me out with a rock, then the bitch knocks me in the balls with her knee. She's fucking dead. Grabbing my knife, I find a rock and grind the blade harshly against it, sharpening my knife as much as possible. I want it to be clean cut when I slice her throat. Running back to the mansion, I barge through the doors, storming in, only to find Masky and Painter sat at the kitchen dining room table. Where the fuck is she? I yell, storming over to the table, slamming my knife down as I pant, harshly sucking air in through my teeth, to which creates a high hissing sound. Where's who? Painter asked, turning his head in my direction, his painted blood smile mask glaring at me blankly. The fucking maid. I snap, spitting as I yell, grinding my teeth together as I begin to grow impatient. She hasn't come back yet. What? I think Toby mentioned something about seeing a blur run quickly past the window deeper into the forest, but he said that it was the rake. The fuck? Reader's POV. I began to grow extremely anxious as that creature continues to surround me. Every now and again, I would hear its bones crack, causing me to flinch, which was bad, as it seemed to excite the creature, causing it to scurry faster, making it harder to keep up with. My breathing kept increasing, causing me to pant and gasp for air as I began to grow lightheaded. I was breathing quickly, but it felt like I was holding my breath. I tried to manipulate the creature, staring deep into its eyes, finding its souls to lock onto, but no matter how hard I tried, it wouldn't work. It was as if the beast had no soul to control. This can't be happening. I whisper quietly to myself, thinking of a way to try and get out of this. However, as I constantly turn on the spot to keep my eye on the thing, I suddenly stand on a twig, to which it snaps loudly, echoing throughout the trees. The monster freezes before charging, hissing and snarking loudly, pouncing on me, pinning me to the ground. I tried so hard to fight it off. I could see it slashing its claws all over me, blood squirting everywhere. I could hear the sound of my bones snapping under its weight, and I tried punching it, kicking it. I even tried biting it on the neck, but nothing worked. It just would not let me go. Yes, okay, I had an advantage of this attack as I didn't feel any pain, but that was also my disadvantage. But not feeling the pain of the slashes, it meant couldn't tell how many it was actually making on my body. The only way I could tell was through my consciousness, and if I grew dizzy and my vision blurry, it meant he was slicing me bad and I was dying of blood loss. Sadly for me, that's exactly what was happening. My punches grew weaker and my head began to feel heavy as the world around me became one big blur and eventually black. The last thing I hear is a voice in the distance calling my name. My real name. How did you do that? A voice asked from behind me. I stood in an empty classroom, watching as all the children run out screaming for their lives at the fact that I had just made our teacher's head explode. Well, all kids except one. I turned around to see a boy stood there, looking down at the remains of the teacher's brains. He wasn't showing any signs of fear, instead he seemed to be intrigued by it. Are you a witch? Did you cast a spell on him? The boy asks, walking over to the teacher's body, crouching down, examining the fleshy remains and tears of its neck. No, it wasn't a spell. Witches don't exist, silly. I try to throw him off the idea, in case he started to spread that I'm a witch. Kneeling down next to him, he had such a cute face, and for some reason he was always smiling, even when looking at the teacher's corpse. So how did you do it? Wait, you brought the toad back to life too, right? Always smiling. With every question he asked, he'd always be smiling. It started to rub off on me a little, causing me to smile and feel more happy about the situation. Yep, that was me too, but Sir took his life away again. It was only fair that I took Sir's life, right? Yeah. The boy agrees with me as we both stand to our feet. He puts out his hand for me to shake, grabbing it tightly. He vigorously shakes my hand up and down, and I couldn't stop giggling at how much it made my body shake. I'm Ash, and you are? I'm I never found out the name of that boy from my class when I was 7. A teacher with police ran in, grabbing us both and separating us, dragging me away and taking him to safety away from me. I groan as I slowly peel open my eyes. The sun's beam of light was so bright it was practically blinding. Lifting my hands to my face, I rubbed my eyes, trying to wake them up, but then suddenly realized I was actually rubbing my eyes, meaning I wasn't wearing my mask. In a frantic manner, I quickly sit up looking for it, finding it on a small bedside table, next to a lamp. Grabbing it, I quickly placed it on, breathing a sigh of relief that it was on my face. After a few seconds, I finally calmed down, looking around to see where I was, as I was clearly no longer in the woods. Luckily, I was alone in the room, but I was worried of who it was that took my mask off in the first place, or who it was that brought me in here. I appeared to be in a bedroom, but it looked hardly used until now, of course. There was dust covering the walls and ceiling, the wardrobe was thick with dust, and even the bedside table, with a print of where my mask had been. The only places with no dust were the floor and the bed I was sleeping in. It felt good to be sleeping in a bed again. Sleeping on Jeff's floor was not comfortable at all. As I finally relaxed that I was not in anyone's room that might kill me for being in here, I pull off the blanket and swing my legs over the edge of the bed, only to see a flash of white. Huh? Looking down at myself, I was completely covered in white bandages. I wore nothing except for a bra and underwear. There were at least 4 bandages on my left leg and 3 on my right. My left arm had a tight bandage all the way along from the wrist to the shoulder, surrounded by a hard metal brace with splints. I guess that I broke my left arm. Explains the sound of a bone snapping. My right arm had at least 8 bandages, 2 of which were just around my fingers. I had a large bandage around the entirety of my stomach and one around my neck. I was practically a living Egyptian mummy. I was just glad I couldn't feel any of it. The only question now was who did this for me? Did EJ do it? As he was the one who helped me with a hole in my leg when I first arrived, to which it was now fully healed. Or maybe it was Slender. I hope to God it was Slender, as he's the only one who's seen my face. Standing off of the bed, I look around for clothing to wear, but there was none. None on the bed, on the floor, in the wardrobe, nothing. Poking my head out of the door to see if anyone was around to help, there was no one. The halls were completely empty and silent. I need to find some clothes. I remember storing away trousers in a cleaning closet, but I needed to find it in order to get to them. Only problem is all of the doors are exactly the same, and I would have no chance. Sighing heavily, I stepped back into the room, closing the door shut and turning around, only to see neatly folded up clothes on the end of my bed. What? They weren't there before. Shaking my head in confusion, I make my way to the bed, grabbing the clothes, and I start to get changed. Once finished, I turn around only for Slender to be standing in front of the door, causing me to gasp and jump. Slender, I wasn't expecting. My apologies for making you jump. I see you're rested. Yes, I am, but I, I have a question. Who bandaged me and took off my mask? I myself mended your wounds and removed your mask, but it was Jeff who brought you here after you were attacked. It was Jeff who saved me? Just before I blanked out, I heard someone yell my name, my real name. I thought it might have been in my head hearing Sakura's voice as a safe haven, but it was actually Jeff. It is common decency to thank the one who mended you. Where are your manners? Oops, sorry. Thank you, Sunder. Where is Jeff? After he brought you here and informed me of your attack, he left. With that, Slender says no more and teleports out of the room. I was grateful and thankful that it was Slender who took off my mask and no one else, but why was Jeff the one to save me? That is the end of that chapter. The next chapter after that is chapter 18. Um, that was interesting. Okay, no, I'm not gonna lie. I do love stories with the rake in it. Anything with the rake, I like it. I like creepy, like, creatures, like anything that's gonna, like, like spine chilling, like, ugh, shudders, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Um, This makes me want to watch a scary movie. I'm like, this is Christmas. Let me know how you guys feel about that, and I will see you guys next time I post, which hopefully will be tomorrow after work. You guys have a lovely day, and bye bye.